So you've just got your new probe through the post and you want to set it up and use it to find information about your local water. Dead easy. The first thing we do is obviously open the box. All very environmentally friendly, the probe fishing stuff. And there is a little QR code which will give you more information if you want. I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you want me to tell you how to do it. So 3 things are supplied: a little bag for keeping the probe in, a charger and the probe itself. So I'll just run you through the charging process. I'm not going to dwell on this because obviously you can do this at home before you get there. All I do is plug that into a USB-C connector. Obviously most plugs now have these fitted, so that goes straight into a plug into the wall. And then on the actual probe, you'll notice 2 little magnets and 2 little connector points. This just attaches on there. Now you'll see I'm putting it on there this way and it's not going, and that's because it's the wrong way around. The magnets are the wrong way around, but when you get the right way around, it'll actually pull it onto the connector itself, and that will then charge the probe. I charged this for about 90 minutes before I got to the bank. All right, now we're on the bank and I want to get going. So the first thing I'm going to do is attach this to the line. Larford Lakes, nice commercial. I'm not worried really about snagging up or losing this, so I'm just going to tie it in the simplest way onto the line. You'll notice it's just got a hole running through the middle of the probe there. So what we're actually going to do, don't get any simpler, is thread my line through the middle of the probe, like so. And then in true Blue Peter fashion, up here, I have got a little bead. There it is. Let's grab that off the top of the van. And this is actually one of the Preston inline connectors. So I'm just going to thread that through the middle of there. The line goes through, and then a nice little loop on this part, which will just obviously plug in. I'm just going to make double sure it don't pull through, so I'm going to go through 3 times. Once, and just get that through again, twice, and finally 3 times. Now there's lots of different ways to do this. I'm not going to teach you to suck eggs, folks, but you get the idea. You want a nice secure knot that's going to stop that connector from coming off and stop the probe from sliding off the line. So pull all that nice and tight now. In fact, we'll just trim that off first to make it. It's funny how certain habits when you're an angler really do die hard. Like I just wet that knot there. I've trimmed off that tag end. I'm going to pull that through so that all goes in there nice and neat, and you'll notice that by chance the actual Preston quick change connector fits in the end of the probe like that. So that's all on the line, nice and secure. The next thing is to activate the probe and connect it to your smartphone. Now I have got an Apple iPhone here, but what I need to do on this is connect it to the app first, but in order to do that we have to go to the App Store and download it. Now obviously I'm speaking specifically about Apple at the moment, but in the App Store you put in probe fishing. If you've got a different kind of phone, just go on the probe website and double check it's compatible. I know most of them are, but you'll see there I've just searched probe fishing in the App Store. The probe fishing lure tracker's come up. I'm downloading that now. That's downloaded. And I'm going to press open, which opens up the app. Very important, this next bit, folks. Take your time with this. You need the probe to use your location. That's really important. You'll see why in future videos when I show you how I use it. And you need it to allow it to connect to Bluetooth as well. So that's all done there now, all right? Now the next thing we need to do is connect to settings and actually pair the probe. So I'm just going to, once we open that up, I'm just going to close it off. So often when it first opens an app, you'll find it sometimes jams. So we'll open it up again. So again, we're going to allow, and then click on that settings button, and down at the bottom here, you get add probe. All right, now before I click that though, what I'm going to actually do, on the side of the probe, you'll notice a flat little area here. I'm going to tap twice on that, as weird as that sounds. And then I'm going to click Add Probe. Now what will happen when I do that, you'll see there's a little flashing light there on the back of the probe, and straight away it says Probe Found. So by tapping on that flat area, you actually activate the probe, all right? And I'm going to connect to the probe. Probe 1, you can give it a name. Probe 1's technical enough for me. And you'll see that probe is now connected, all right? So that's that done. I can then, if I want to, close this screen. But the main thing to say is we're ready to cast this in and find the depth. And that's what I'll show you how to do on the next video.